Get your core boards, communication apps, or devices ready. Mr. Cooperider is going to read us the next chapter in Alice in Wonderland.
Hello. Welcome back to our read-through of Alice in Wonderland. We continue with Chapter 7, The Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Alice easily recognized the March Hare's house. The chimneys were shaped like ears and the roof was covered with fur. At a table in front of the house, the March Hare and the Hatter were having tea. A dormouse was sitting between them. It was asleep, and the other two were using it as a cushion, resting their elbows on it and talking over its head. The table was a large one, but all three were crowded together at one corner of it. "No room, no room," they cried when they saw Alice coming. "There's plenty of room," said Alice indignantly, sitting down in a large armchair. "Have some wine," said the March Hare. "I don't see any wine," said Alice, looking round. "There isn't any," said the March Hare. "It wasn't very polite of you to offer it then," said Alice angrily. "It wasn't very polite of you to sit down without being asked," said the March Hare. Then the Hatter joined in. Why is a raven like a writing desk?" he asked Alice. "I believe I can guess that," began Alice. "Do you mean you think you can find out the answer?" asked the March Hare. "Exactly so," said Alice. "Then you should say what you mean," said the March Hare. "I do," Alice replied. "At least, I mean what I say, and that's the same thing, you know." "Not the same thing at all," said the Hatter. "You might as well say that I see what I eat is the same thing as I eat what I say and what I see." "You might as well say," added the March Hare, "that I like what I get is the same thing as I get what I like." While Alice thought about how to reply to this, the Mad Hatter took out his watch and looked at it. He shook it every now and then and held it to his ear. "2 days wrong," he said. "I told you butter wouldn't suit the works." He looked angrily at the March Hare. "It was the best butter," said the March Hare. "Yes, but some crumbs must have gotten in as well," the Hatter grumbled. "You shouldn't have put it on with a bread knife." The March Hare took the watch and looked at it gloomily. Then he dipped it in his cup of tea and looked at it again. "Let's change the subject," he said. "I vote the young lady tells us a story." "But I don't know one," said Alice in an alarm. "Then the Dormouse shall," they both cried. "Wake up, Dormouse." They pinched it on both sides at once. The Hatter poured a little hot tea on its nose. "I wasn't asleep," murmured the Dormouse. "I heard every word you said." "Tell us a story," said the March Hare. "Yes, please do," said Alice. "Once upon a time, there were 3 sisters," began the Dormouse in a great hurry. "Their names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly, and they lived at the bottom of a well." "What did they live on?" asked Alice. "They lived on treacle," said the Dormouse. "They couldn't have," said Alice. "They'd have been ill." "So they were," said the Dormouse. "Very ill." "Have some more tea," said the Hatter to Alice. "I haven't had any yet," said Alice, "so how can I have any more?" "You mean you can't have less," said the Hatter. "It's easy to have more than nothing." Alice turned back to the Dormouse. "Why did they live at the bottom of a well?" she asked. "It was a treacle well," said the Dormouse. "These sisters were learning to draw, you see." "What did they draw?" asked Alice. "Treacle," replied the Dormouse. "I don't understand. Where did they draw the treacle from?" "You could draw water from a water well," said the Hatter. "So why shouldn't you draw a treacle from a treacle well?" "But they were in the well," cried Alice. "Of course they were," said the Dormouse. Well in, he said, getting sleepy again. They drew everything that begins with an M, the Dormouse went on drowsily, such as mousetraps and the moon and muchness. You say, things are much of a muchness. Did you ever see a drawing of muchness? I don't think, began Alice. Then you shouldn't talk, snapped the Hatter. This was too much for Alice. She got up and walked into the wood. When she looked back, she saw that the others were trying to put the Dormouse into the teapot. What a strange group of people. Join us next time to see what Alice will do next. Goodbye.